Hello and welcome to my channel on this election day 2022, which matters nothing for what I'm about. As a sexualist, it doesn't matter who you vote for because there's nobody to vote for who wants any more sexual freedom than anybody else. The problem is feminism is not a contentious issue. Sexuality is not a contentious issue because everyone in politics agrees that sexuality is the worst thing in the universe that they need to criminalize as hard as possible. Even the supposed conservatives who are religious zealots don't use a religious justification for their anti-sex bigotry anymore. They all use feminist rhetorics. Sexuality is wrong because it is abusive. It abuses and exploits women and children, right? That is the religion of our times. It's the state religion and the religion of the people, to be frank, to the point where feminism is not a contentious issue. So we can disregard elections. There's nobody here in Norway I can vote for either, so I just don't even vote because they all hate sexuality. They all want to persecute men and even women for our sexuality as much as possible. No, we are at the stage of the battle for the battle to make it a contentious issue. Make sex crimes a contentious issue. The criminalization needs to be contentious and not just the obvious thing we do because everyone knows that sexuality is the worst thing in the universe that we need to persecute as hard as we can. What we need to do now is to be taken morally seriously. We need to fight to be taken seriously as activists. Because right now, we're not in that Overton window of politics. We're just outside of acceptable discourse. I mean, I can't even state my ideology without getting banned most places. Because sexuality is not a contentious issue that it is acceptable to debate. I mean, it's like going back to the ancient world and being a slavery abolitionist, right? That was not a contentious issue back then. So if you had activists, they wouldn't be taken seriously. At best, they would be part of a rebellion, but they wouldn't be taken seriously as morally serious activists, like I am on sexuality, but nobody pays attention to because they consider my position to be merely something to be criminalized and suppressed, censored. It's not supposed to be spoken because everybody knows, is the official thinking, that you can't argue these things because they are God-given truths, not given by God, but given by feminist ideology, right? And that ideology happens to coincide with religious zealotry. So the conservatives are happy with feminism. They just adapt the rhetorics to speak in feminist terms instead of religious moralist terms. And then they get all the criminalization they ever had via religious ideology and more. So feminism is a godsend to religious zealots. Christian moralism has never been as strong as it is now. You just call it something else, you call it feminism, right? Like when we had leiemål, case criminalization in Norway, we criminalized everything we criminalize now, except you had one exception. You had an exception for marriage. But you don't have that anymore. Now all the same sex crimes apply in marriage too. So there is zero tolerance for sexuality. Zero tolerance for sexuality. We need to fight the battle, to make it a contentious issue. Because there isn't even tolerance for debating this. Because everyone agrees sexuality needs to be persecuted maximally. So I don't care about elections at this point, because everyone is equally hateful. We need to try to make it a contentious issue first. And only then can we have somebody to vote for who's not a feminist.